So how do you try out for NXT? Do you call them? Do they call you? How does it work to get there? Where do you stay? Tell us all the details.
So I was booked for a Raw and SmackDown loop as an extra. And Bill DeMott had gotten me booked for that. And then before SmackDown, when the arena was empty, we would have matches in front of nobody except for like William Regal, Scotty Armstrong, and then whoever else just happened to be in the vicinity that wanted to watch. And Regal and Scotty pulled me aside and gave me some feedback and stuff like that. And then we had to go and cut promos for the Brooklyn Brawler. And Regal was in there with me. He brought Matt Stryker in to watch me. They talked amongst themselves. He made me do the promo like 10 different ways, and then went and got one of the writers and had me cut the promo for him, and pulled me aside afterwards and said, I'm going to put your name in for a tryout. Just expect a call. No, actually, sorry. He got me booked the next month as an extra again. And then during that loop, that's when he pulled me aside. And he said, that was November. And he said, February, they were having a tryout. And so I waited, and eventually I got a call, and they invited me down to try out.
Do they trans you up? How does that work?
Yeah, no, they paid me. They flew me in. I tried out in Tampa at the old FCW building. And it was Bill DeMott, Dusty Rhodes, Billy Gunn, Joey Mercury. Who else was there? Jim Ross was there, Jerry Briscoe. Might be forgetting one or two people, but I don't think Norman was there. I think it was just those guys.
Who was there as far as students?
So Sean Spears was in that class. Kalisto was in that. Adam Cole, Mike Bennett, LA Knight, Eli Drake, Sean Ricker, he was in that class. Who else was there? I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. Marshe Rocket, he's with NWA now. Jesse Neal. And I think there's a couple others I'm missing, but that was, Dalton Castle was in that. So yeah, it was pretty stacked.
What does a tryout consist of? How long is it? What does it consist of?
We were there for 3 days, and so it was just drills and drills and drills and blow you up and make you quit for like the first day and a half. And then at the end of the second day, we did matches. Some of us did, some of the guys had no experience, so they weren't going to have them try to wrestle. But we did matches on the second half of the second day, and then the third day was promos. I went home, sat around for like a month, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's a no. But they told us, that they were going to reach out to everybody. So I'm at home one day, and I get a call from a 203 phone number, and I picked it up. It was Canyon Seaman, and they offered me a job.
What does that consist of? Do they make you move down to Florida? Do you have to train out every day? What does a week of an NXT wrestler consist of back then?
I know it's lightened up a little bit now from what I hear, but back then it was move down to Florida, and you're in the ring for 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday. You're in the weight room for an hour and a half after that. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you're on the road doing live events. And Thursdays and Fridays, you leave straight from the Performance Center, get to the town, set up the ring, have the show, break down the ring, drive back. Probably have to go in some Saturday mornings. You go in, either use the gym, whatever, back to the next town, set up the ring, do the show, break down the ring, and drive home. And then Sundays, you're doing laundry, basically. It's like you're one day off.
What trainers did what?
Everybody kind of just had their own class, So it was, you had Billy Gunn, Norman Smiley, Robbie Brookside, Terry Taylor, Sarah Del Rey had all the females. Eventually, Adam Pearce came in. Nick Dinsmore was there for a while. I don't know if I mentioned Joey, but Joey had his class. So, you just got assigned a new coach every month, basically. Some guys, if they got, like I was with Norman for probably like the first 5 or 6 months because me and him hit it off pretty well. And then I bounced around to Dinsmore's class, eventually Billy's class. And then towards the end, I was in Terry's class because that was like maybe 6 or 7 people of like guys that were about to get called up. And then from Terry's, they put me in the beginner's class with Robbie Brookside to kind of help the younger guys that were coming in. So that was kind of cool.
Thoughts on Dusty Rhodes?
Oh, I love Dusty to death. Went to bat for me many, many times. Just an amazing, amazing human being.
What did he teach you there?
Everything. I mean, he was doing promo class, and but he really kind of just taught you to not care as much about the stuff that you can't control. He was very. He was like his own free bird, like he flew his own way and nobody could tell him what to do. And if they did, he would say, "What are they going to do? Fire me? I'm the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes." And it kind of gave you that sense of like, oh, okay. So we're kind of like, not that you can be a jerk, but it gave you kind of that sense of like, no, it's okay to stand up for yourself in certain situations, Yeah, so he kicked Enzo out of promo class once for farting. That was a good one. Yeah, I forgot. I think it was Corbin was cutting the promo, and Dusty goes, "Enzo, what do you think?" I think he said like, "Anybody got anything?" And Enzo raised his hand and then lifted his leg. And it was just, and everybody was like, "Oh my God." And Dusty got so mad, kicked him out of the building. And, like everybody's obviously like just trying not to laugh because Dusty's angry, and, but it was really funny.
That's great. How hands-on is Triple H? Is he there during the week? Is he there just at the big events, the TV tapings?
He was at every TV. And he would kind of be there. Like sometimes he might have been in town the night before, but he wasn't really in the building. He would come in if we were doing like a media day and they had all these reporters there and stuff. And, he had to talk to them. Special events he'd be in for, but most of the time he was definitely at every Full Sail. So like once a month we get like one-on-one time with him and get to talk to him. But the cameras in the Performance Center actually send a live feed to him. So he can like check in anytime and like watch what we're doing.
Thoughts on Triple H?
A great boss. If he had a million things to do, he would make time for 1,000,001 if you needed to talk to him. It was always like he never turned down a conversation or a question that I had. He was always like accessible and yeah, I mean, open, funny, cool-headed. Like he was great.
I tell you, Bill DeMott is a very polarizing figure. A lot of people have different opinions on Bill DeMott. I personally love Bill DeMott. I've always got along great with him. He's always treated me very well. What was your relationship like with Bill DeMott?
Bill got me booked as an extra, which led to me getting hired. Bill was the head coach when I got hired. Bill was very tough on me when I got there. But I kind of knew to expect that because I knew so many people that knew Bill. And they were like, "Look, he's gonna be hard on you, but you're gonna learn stuff, And he would hard on me to a point where we started butting heads a little bit. But it all kind of works, like life works itself out, right? So for as hard as Bill was on me, there's times now where I'll just be like driving and a light bulb will go off and I'll go, "That's what he meant." And you kind of start figuring it out along the way, and I don't regret spending 1 second under Bill. It made me tougher. It made me a better person. It made me just realize like that whenever you think you can't do something, you can. You just got to put the work in and do it. I got a lot of respect for Bill. I don't care what anybody says. They can have their opinions. They're entitled to them. But I respect Bill, and I got a lot of time for Bill.
What were the live events like?
We drove to all the live events in Florida. Just 3 or 4 to a car and drive to the town. When we started touring, then we would get a bus, and we'd all just kind of have our spot on the bus. And Dave Taylor had a connection to Moe's, so we would get free Moe's at the live events, thanks to Dave. So that always helped. Moe's is like a burrito place.
Oh, nice.
You never went to Moe's?
No.
Oh, you walk in, they go, "Welcome to Moe's." It's like a whole thing. You got a whole gimmick going.
Wow. Who did you work with a lot in NXT? Who did you like working with? Who did you not like working with?
I wouldn't say there was anybody I didn't like working with, because we were all kind of in it together, So everybody was kind of pushing each other to be better. Like we all wanted to help each other, I worked a lot with Angelo Dawkins, a lot with Mojo at first, a little bit with Corbin. Then like some random stuff, like some tags and 6-man tags, and then a lot of time with Rich Swann and Sean Spears. Yeah, it was a good mix of guys, because you always had something different, You'd go on a stretch of the same guy for a few weeks, but you get to switch it up too, and that was always fun.
Tell me about Bullfit.
Oh, that was a blast. I had one rule, and it was to not try to make anybody take more than one bump every match.
How did they pitch it to you? Who pitched it to you? What was that like?
That was Hunter's idea. Hunter came up with that. I just talked about this recently with somebody. So, you have a 1-hour show, and you have me and Corbin as like 2 big monsters, and then you have Kevin Owens come in. So you can't have like 3 of the same character on a 1-hour show. Even though we're different talents, different wrestlers, it's kind of repetitive at that point. But, I had built up my own equity with what I presented on TV up until that point. So Hunter was like, I don't just want to get rid of the guy. Like, let's come up with something for him. And he had this whole idea, and he pitched it to me, and I loved it. And it was like off to the races after that.
What big name talents that are on TV right now, besides the ones you mentioned, were there when you were there?
Basically everybody. Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss. I got to do something with Roman on Tough Enough, which was cool. Spent some time with him. The Usos were down there rehabbing some injuries, so I got to hang out with them a lot. But yeah, practically everybody that's a player right now was down there.
Terry Taylor?
Terry was great to me. Yeah, Terry was awesome. Terry's class was fun, because we'd be watching a lot of wrestling, and from his perspective, which was cool, it was different than everybody else's. We tried to rib him one time, and we brought in one of the Wrestle Kingdoms that New Japan did, and it was like a 4-way tag match with like the Young Bucks and a bunch of other guys, and it was just all spotty, and everything that we thought like, oh, he's gonna hate this, and it's gonna lead to like the most epic rant ever. And it finishes, and he goes, and like we're all sitting there like, come on, bury it. And he goes, that was great. And we all like look around like, what? And he goes, yeah, that was the opening match, right? And we're like, yeah. He goes, so everybody that paid to see that style of match got it, and now we can tell our stories for the rest of the night. And I'm like, damn it. Thought we had him. But no, man, he was awesome. He a lot of guys thought he was like stuck in his ways. But here, I got a good one for you. I had to wrestle Mojo at a live event, and Terry comes up to me. Nick Dinsmore's producing my match, but Terry comes up to me and he goes, I challenge you to keep him in a hold for 3 minutes, and I'm going to time it. And in my head, I'm like, this crowd is gonna shit all over this. This is not gonna be good. And I look at Nick and he goes, better you than me. And I'm like, oh, that's really reassuring. Thanks a lot. And so I get him in this hold, and Rudy Charles was my ref, and he just kept giving me like the time cue. He's like, all right, 2.5 minutes left. And I'm like, is he seriously going to make me sit here for 3 minutes? This is going to go horribly wrong. And, it got really, really quiet at one point. And I'm just like, oh, get me out of here. This is awful. And then, the boring chants start. And I wanted to be like, it's not my fault. I didn't do this. Please stop. And it keeps going and going. And then they got quiet again. And Rudy comes up. He's like, all right, 30 more seconds. And I'm like, dude, let's just can we just go? Like, this is really, really bad. And then this rumble started. And people started clapping. And it was louder and louder and louder. And then Mojo started working up. And he started blowing his comeback. And then he went for a splash in the corner, I think. And I caught him and I hit my finish and beat him. And it got so much heat. I was stunned. And I went to the back and Terry went, see? And I was just in shock. And I was like, all right, I'm never going to doubt you ever again. That was, stuff like that. You just would think that, is he ribbing me? This isn't going to work. And sure enough, if you just went and did it, and most of the time it worked. There was another time I was a babyface wrestling Tino Sabatelli, and maybe I think it was his first match ever. And he was a heel. And Terry comes up to me and he goes, I want you to call this match from underneath. And you're not allowed to talk to him before the match. You got to call it out there. I was like, okay, no problem. It's like, you can do that? And I was like, yeah, I can do it. And he's like, oh, well, we'll see. He's like, you're going to sit next to me the whole night. And it's we were the opening match. He goes, you're going to sit next to me until the show starts. You can't talk to him. So, that's fine. I sat next to him, went out. It went great. We got to the back, and that was it. After that, I could do no wrong in Terry's eyes. Yeah, I earned a lot of respect from him with stuff like that. The stuff that's kind of lost now with a lot of guys. So that was always cool. I was always proud of that.
Billy Gunn. Thoughts on Billy Gunn?
Oh, he's just the best ever. He's awesome. That's it's like my wrestling dad. Just the most fun guy ever. When I know I'm on a show with him, I know I'm just gonna have the best time ever. Just an absolute blast to be around. He can be very people get scared of him because he's very big, and he seems like he's very angry. But that's just it's just his way of messing with people, If you just give it back to him a little bit, he opens right up. He just wants to have fun. He just wants to laugh, and he's so smart with his his views on wrestling are very unique to him, and it's just a nice different perspective than what everybody else has, because he just wants to have fun. He wants you to have fun so that people have fun, and he's not fake. He's very genuine. And he said, you have to be genuine out there, because if the people can see through it. If they know you're not having fun, they're not going to be on board. So he opened up my eyes a lot to the entertainment side of things too, especially the more I got to do comedy stuff. He was like, I'm on this train, let's go. And he started producing a lot of my matches after that.
Thoughts on Norman Smiley?
The nicest person probably in the world, who would twist you into a million pieces if you ever said anything cross to him. And a complete and total gentleman. Uncle Norm, my boy. The first Bullfit promo. It's myself and William Regal. And I had to eat this bag of Doritos while I was talking to him. It was after I got blown up during my match. And I know how he is with he takes great pride in being a one and done guy with promos. as do I, and I feel like everybody should kind of aspire to that, you know. But I was like, I'm gonna break him. I'm gonna get him. And I don't know what it was exactly that broke him. I think it was I was eating the chips, and then I like shook the bag and like looked in it to see if like what was in there. And all of a sudden he just goes, and we had to start over. I was like, I got him. Yes, this is awesome. So then like the next take, I did something else and I got him again. And he started to get like annoyed with himself because he didn't want to break, you know? And then he said something to me in the next one. He called me like sunshine or something. And I just lost it. I popped huge. And then the fourth one is the one that they used. And people have called me out for it, but I don't care because I feel like it made it so much better. He looks at me and goes, listen, Flower. And you just see like this smirk come on my face. And I'm like biting my lip, trying not to laugh. And I didn't actually laugh, but you could tell that I was sitting there like, and I'm so happy they used that because otherwise I feel like it wouldn't have been genuine, you know, it wouldn't have been real.
That's awesome.
Anytime I got to do stuff with him was just the best. And I remember after that promo, he looked at the writers and he was like, I found my new Tajiri. And I was like, yes, let's do that. Please. Like, let's go. Let's film something every time you're here.
That's
you know,
awesome.
I ended up pitching to Michael Hayes. I put a cover sheet on it and everything. And I made like a 10-page pitch of all these different interactions that Regal and I could have. And my favorite one was you see like a yoga studio or whatever, right? And then inside is like a Lamaze class. And it's all these pregnant women with their husbands like holding their hand and they're doing the breathing exercises. And then the camera pans over and there's like me in his arms and he's holding my hand and I'm doing the Lamaze exercise. There was so much stuff we could have done with me and him. And I feel like that's like my only regret is that stuff never got to happen. Because I know how good it would have been.
Thoughts on William Regal? Anything he taught you?
Oh, he taught me so much. So much. He was a tremendous supporter of mine and is to this day. I owe so much to him. I really do. He didn't know me from Adam and he took a liking to me. And there's no words for me to thank him enough for what he did for me.